The greatest Super Bowl commercials of all times. You know who had the sexiest.
Most supermodel careers flare and fade in 5 years. 7 if fortune smiles. Fashion wants the next new face by 25. Adriana Lima broke that clock. For almost 2 decades, she ruled the Victoria's Secret runway while the icons of her era moved on. Television, entrepreneurship, family, reinvention. Lima stayed year after year as if time made an exception. Her secret wasn't luck. It was a regimen so extreme experts called it dangerous. 2-a-day training, 9 days of protein shakes before each show, and a final 12 hours without water to hit impossible lines under the lights. She told young women not to copy it. She did it anyway. 18 shows, 3 fantasy bras, 8-figure years. A teenager from Salvador who became the last true angel, the final emblem of a moment the industry can't recreate. This is how one woman turned discipline into power, outlasted an entire generation, and left on her own terms. 1999 changed everything for Victoria's Secret, though nobody realized it at the time. 2 Brazilian teenagers walked that runway for the first time, Gisele Bündchen and Adriana Lima. Both possessed that specific beauty the late 90s craved. Sun-kissed skin, natural curves, an energy that felt less manufactured than their predecessors. But from that shared starting point, they'd choose opposite strategies for survival. Gisele, already commanding top dollar at 19, viewed Victoria's Secret as a stepping stone. She'd use the platform to build something bigger, a business empire that would eventually make her the world's highest-paid model. Her plan was expansion, multiple brands, diversified income, strategic exits. She understood that power came from options. Lima, 18 years old with a heritage nobody could quite categorize, Brazilian, African, Portuguese, French, Caribbean, saw something different in those wings. Where Gisele saw a launching pad, Lima saw a fortress. She'd won Ford's Supermodel of Brazil contest at 15, placed second in their global competition at 16. She knew the modeling world's brutality, how quickly faces disappeared. Her strategy was depth over breadth. She signed with Victoria's Secret and committed completely. That first year, while Gisele collected campaigns for Versace, Dolce & Gabbana, and Valentino, Lima focused on one thing: becoming indispensable to VS. She studied the angels who'd come before: Stephanie Seymour, Karen Mulder, Tyra Banks. She noticed patterns. The ones who lasted weren't necessarily the most beautiful or famous. They were the most committed, the most willing to transform their bodies into whatever the brand required. By 2000, both strategies had proven successful. Gisele was conquering high fashion. Lima had been promoted to official angel status. Neither could have predicted that Lima's narrower path would ultimately prove longer, or that choosing limitation over liberation would become her greatest strength. Lima understood something fundamental about Victoria's Secret that other models missed. The brand didn't just want beauty. Beauty was replaceable, arriving fresh from Eastern Europe or Brazil every season. VS wanted reliability, consistency, someone who could deliver the fantasy year after year without fail. Across the early 2000s, while establishing herself as an angel, Lima developed what would become legendary in the industry: her training system. Not the casual gym sessions other models did, but something closer to Olympic preparation. Boxing twice daily, jump rope until her calves burned, weight training that sculptors would recognize, building specific muscles while maintaining overall leanness.
I like intense workout. Intense athletic workout.
The diet component was where Lima separated herself from everyone else. In the 9 days before each show, she'd switch to liquids only, protein shakes, no solid food. And for the final 12 hours before walking, she'd cut even water, complete dehydration to achieve maximum definition. Her body would shrink, skin tightening against muscle, creating the supernatural appearance VS demanded. "I have an athlete's mind," she'd later tell reporters, though athletes competed a few times per year.
Sometimes when I go to the gym, I'm there for really 3 hours, and I'm not exaggerating.
Lima maintained this for 2 decades. In 2005, Tyra Banks announced her departure from Victoria's Secret. She'd been the brand's first black angel, a superstar who transcended modeling into television and business. Her exit created a vacuum. Lima studied it carefully. Tyra left because she had bigger ambitions: hosting, producing, building an empire. The same path would tempt others. Lima made a different calculation. While others saw VS as a platform for launching other ventures, she saw the departures as opportunity. Every exit meant more campaigns, more prominence, more irreplaceability for those who remained. She didn't want to transcend the angel role. She wanted to perfect it. By the end of 2005, her strategy was set. She would outlast everyone through pure discipline. Not the most famous angel, not the highest paid overall, but the most enduring. The one they couldn't replace because nobody else would commit this completely. 2007 should have been Lima's moment of triumph. Gisele Bündchen, the world's highest-paid model, announced her departure from Victoria's Secret. After 7 years, she was moving on to build her empire, launching product lines, signing unprecedented contracts, transcending modeling itself. The crown was vacant, but Lima didn't celebrate. She understood what Gisele's exit really meant. The most successful model in the world had just declared Victoria's Secret wasn't enough. The message was clear. Smart models diversified, then departed. Lima's response was to double down. In 2008, she earned her first fantasy bra, the $5 million black diamond creation that served as VS's annual centerpiece. The fantasy bra wasn't mere jewelry, it stood as a coronation. Only one angel per year could wear it, and that year, Lima was the chosen one.
I remember the day I was doing an interview and she's like, Adriana, I have a surprise for you. And I was like, oh my God, what is it? So she's like, oh, you're doing the fantasy bra this year. I'm like, oh my, really?
The same year, her solo Super Bowl commercial aired to over 100 million viewers. She spoke directly to camera, selling fantasy to America's largest television audience. No other angel that year received that spotlight. The message was clear. With Gisele gone, Lima was ascending. In 2009, she married Serbian NBA player Marko Jaric in a private ceremony. The pairing seemed perfect. Athlete and angel. Discipline meeting discipline. When their daughter Valentina was born that November, the modeling world assumed Lima would follow the typical pattern. Motherhood usually marked the transition point. Even Heidi Klum, announcing her VS departure that year, cited family priorities. But Lima missed the 2009 show, giving her body time to recover. By 2010, she was back on the runway, trained like a machine she'd programmed for a decade. The extreme workouts resumed, the liquid diets returned. She walked that 2010 show as if nothing had changed. Backstage, other angels whispered about her commitment. Some admired it, others found it concerning. Lima ignored both reactions. She had a different timeline than everyone else. While they planned 5-year careers, she was engineering something unprecedented. The 2010 fantasy bra should have gone to someone younger, someone hungrier. Lima had just given birth, was navigating new motherhood while maintaining her career. The conventional wisdom said she'd coast now, taking easier assignments while younger angels competed for the spotlight. Instead, Lima wore her second fantasy bra that year, 2 million of diamonds and sapphires. The message wasn't subtle. Motherhood hadn't slowed her, it had sharpened her focus. She now had something to prove beyond herself. Her training intensified to levels that concerned even VS executives. The 9-day liquid diet became more controlled, the 12-hour dehydration before shows more precisely timed. She'd nurse Valentina in the morning, then spend hours boxing, her body turning exhaustion into definition.
And working out a lot because I did lose like over 50 pounds, really. Boxing, great exercise.
When daughter Sienna arrived in 2012, Lima barely paused. The pregnancy came early that year, and the recovery was treated like a mission. By November, she was back on the Victoria's Secret runway, her body showing almost no trace of 2 pregnancies.
Expert on bibs, by the way, because we both have 2 kids, Like
That year, she gave a Telegraph interview that would become infamous. She detailed the full regimen: twice daily training, liquid fasting, and voluntary dehydration. Most shockingly, she admitted to consuming no liquids at all in the final 12 hours before walking.
You know, it was the biggest challenge of my life, really. And
of your life?
Yes.
Getting in shape?
Getting in shape.
The revelation sparked immediate backlash. Nutritionists condemned it. Women's health advocates called it dangerous. Lima's response was unexpected honesty. "It's not healthy," she admitted in follow-up interviews. "I'm not recommending it to anyone." She explicitly warned young fans not to copy her methods. "This is only for the show. After this, I become normal again." But normal was relative. By 2013, as Miranda Kerr stepped away for high fashion, Lima was perfecting her 13th Victoria's Secret walk overall. Not consecutive, but still an unmatched run for an angel of her era. Kerr's exit, like those before, created more space for Lima to dominate. She was now 32, ancient by modeling standards, yet somehow more essential than ever. Her marriage to Jarich was showing strain under the pressure. The schedule that allowed no deviation, the body that belonged more to Victoria's Secret than to herself, the discipline that had become identity, it left little room for partnership. They separated in 2014, though Lima never publicly blamed her career. The 2014 fantasy bra was worth $2 million, diamonds and rubies arranged in a pattern that resembled wings themselves.
For the fantasy bra, it was different because they came into, we had our body, like a body mold made it.
When Lima wore it, she made history, becoming one of only 2 angels ever to wear the fantasy bra 3 times, alongside Heidi Klum. The achievement should have felt like culmination.
Well, those diamonds and things like that.
6,000 carats.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot of diamonds.
Instead, it felt like defiance. That same year, she and Jarich publicly confirmed their separation after 5 years of marriage. The divorce would be finalized in 2016. Lima was now a single mother of 2, 33 years old, in an industry that considered 25 veteran status. Yet she was earning more than ever. Forbes would soon list her at $10.5 million annually, ranking her among the world's highest-paid models. The modeling landscape was shifting beneath her feet. Instagram had launched in 2010. By 2014, it was creating new kinds of models. Gigi Hadid and Kendall Jenner represented this evolution, social media natives who brought built-in audiences. They didn't need to prove themselves through traditional channels. Their followers were their validation. Victoria's Secret was changing too. Karlie Kloss, one of the new generation's stars, left in 2015 to pursue coding education and business ventures. Dutzen Kroos, a Dutch angel who'd joined around at the same time as Lima, quietly exited to focus on family and activism. Even Candace Swanepoel and Bahati Prinsloo, younger angels who seemed committed, were exploring other opportunities. By 2015, media outlets were calling Lima the longest-running angel in Victoria's Secret history. The title was both crown and isolation. Every angel she'd started with was gone. Most who'd come after had departed too. She was becoming less colleague than institution. Backstage at the 2016 show, Alessandra Ambrosio was preparing her own farewell. The Brazilian angel, one of Lima's few remaining peers, would leave after the 2017 show. They'd shared 17 years of runways, but Ambrosio wanted to exit while still at her peak, transitioning to her own swimwear line. Lima watched these departures with complex emotions she rarely discussed publicly. Each exit meant more spotlight for her, but also more solitude. She was the last connection to an era that younger models had never experienced, when supermodels were celebrities, when the VS fashion show was appointment television, when wings meant something beyond Instagram posts. January 2017 started like any other year in Lima's 2-decade routine. Training resumed after holiday break. Diet tightened in preparation for upcoming shows. The machinery of perfection hummed along its familiar track. Then, something shifted. The trigger wasn't public at first. Lima, deeply Catholic since childhood, had always compartmentalized her faith and her work. The lingerie, the selling of fantasy, the transformation of her body into object, these were professional requirements, separate from her spiritual life. But her daughters were growing older. Valentina was 8, Sienna 5. They were beginning to understand what their mother did for work. In November 2017, Lima posted something unprecedented on Instagram. I had received a call for the possibility of filming a sexy video of me to be posted and shared in social media, she wrote. Even though I have done many of this type, something had changed in me. The post continued with a declaration that shocked the fashion world. I will not take off my clothes anymore for an empty cause. The majority of the time I have been in a photo shoot or filming something, the focus was on my body. I was able to funnel this feeling of being used and turn it into something that I could use to sell a product. She went further. This is not physically and mentally healthy. This is why I decided to make this change. I am not ashamed of myself or my past, but I don't want to continue living in a way that is not in line with my beliefs, my values. The timing was extraordinary. Lima was still under contract with Victoria's Secret, still scheduled to walk their runway, still the primary face of their campaigns. She was essentially rejecting the very foundation of her career while still standing on it. The response was immediate and divided. Some praised her evolution and honesty. Others saw hypocrisy. How could she criticize the industry while still profiting from it? VS remained officially silent, though insiders reported emergency meetings about their most reliable angel suddenly becoming unreliable. Lima navigated the controversy with unexpected grace. She didn't retract or clarify. She simply continued her contracted obligations while making clear this was temporary. Her daughters, she explained in one interview, deserved a mother whose work aligned with her values. The 2017 VS fashion show in Shanghai would be Alessandra Ambrosio's farewell. Lima walked it knowing she had one more year on her contract, one more year of transformation, but now it had an end point she controlled. The announcement came via Instagram in November 2018, just days before the show. "Dear Victoria," Lima wrote, "thank you for showing me the world, sharing your secrets, and most importantly, not just giving me wings, but teaching me to fly." The post was perfectly crafted, grateful without being subservient, emotional without melodrama. She acknowledged the brand that made her while asserting her own agency in leaving. After 18 shows, she was choosing her exit. The fashion world understood the significance. Every other major angel had left earlier, quieter, or for clearly stated other opportunities. Lima was leaving as the last one standing, still at the peak of her earning power, simply because it was time.
This is where everything started for me here in New York. So I started here and I finished here.
The night of her final show at Pier 94 in New York was orchestrated for maximum impact. VS created a retrospective video montage of her career, 18 years compressed into minutes. From that first walk in 1999 as a teenager beside Giselle, to her evolution into the ultimate angel. When Lima emerged for her final walk, the production was theatrical. The Swarovski crystal crown, the elaborate peacock feather wings, the runway extended specifically for her. As she walked, something unscripted happened. Tears began flowing. Not the single photogenic tear of practiced emotion, but real crying. The audience, celebrities, executives, journalists who'd covered fashion for decades, gave her a standing ovation. Models who were toddlers when Lima started her career applauded from backstage. A chosen farewell at the height of power. Backstage, she could barely speak through emotion. "This has been my 18th show," she managed. "The highlight of my career." When asked about her future, she was clear. "I'm not disappearing, I'm evolving." Alessandra Ambrosio, who'd left the year before, posted her own tribute. "Last night was so emotional to say goodbye to my angel sisters. Love you forever." The sisterhood was acknowledging what everyone understood. Lima hadn't just outlasted them all. She'd outlasted the era itself. The show would continue for one more year before VS canceled it entirely in 2019. The brand would attempt a comeback in 2024, even inviting Lima back for a special appearance. But that was aftermath. Lima's 2010 farewell was the real ending of the supermodel age, of the angel mythology, of an entire way of creating and selling beauty. After the wings came off for the final time, Lima didn't disappear. She'd warned everyone she was evolving, not retiring. But evolution meant something specific. No more liquid diets, no more dehydration, No more transforming her body into someone else's fantasy. She would work, but on her terms. The modeling jobs continued. Versace, Miu Miu, Chopard, but with boundaries. No more extreme preparation. No more empty causes. When she occasionally appeared at fashion events, observers noticed something different. She looked healthy in a way she hadn't in 20 years. The supernatural definition was gone, replaced by something more human. In interviews, she spoke about those 2 decades with remarkable clarity. She didn't romanticize or condemn. "I was an athlete," she'd say. "Athletes have careers. They train, they compete, they retire." The comparison was revealing. She'd never seen herself as just a model, but as someone performing at the highest level of a demanding sport. The numbers supported this interpretation. 18 Victoria's Secret shows. No one had more. 3 fantasy bras, a record. Nearly 20 years with one brand, unprecedented in modern modeling. She'd earned over $10 million annually at her peak, competing against social media models 20 years younger. But the legacy went deeper than statistics. Lima had proven something the industry claimed was impossible. You could last 2 decades in a business designed for 5-year cycles. The cost was extreme. The physical punishment, the sacrifices in personal life, the isolation of outlasting every peer. Yet she'd paid it consciously, strategically. When younger models asked her advice, she was honest to the point of discouragement. "Don't do what I did," she'd tell them. "The industry is different now. You don't need to destroy yourself to succeed." She understood her method was specific to her era, her psychology, her particular relationship with discipline. The other angels had found different paths. Tyra Banks built a television empire. Heidi Klum became a brand herself. Gisele Bündchen transcended modeling entirely, becoming one of the world's highest-paid women in any field. Miranda Kerr married a tech billionaire and launched wellness companies. Each had used VS as a launching pad for something bigger. Lima's path was narrower, but perhaps more profound. She'd mastered one thing completely. She'd become synonymous with the angel concept itself. When people pictured Victoria's Secret, they pictured Adriana Lima in wings. She was the archive, the history, the final guardian of that particular fantasy. Yet Lima controlled that transformation in a way her predecessors couldn't. She chose when to intensify, when to evolve, when to stop. That 2017 Instagram post about empty causes wasn't contradiction, but clarity. She'd always known what she was doing. The difference was that she finally had the power to say it. When she took her final walk in 2018, crying before thousands, it marked more than the end of her career. It marked the close of a chapter in fashion history that can't be repeated. Social media killed the mystery. Body positivity challenged the standards. The economics shifted from spectacle to influence. The world that created Adriana Lima no longer exists. The modeling industry loves to talk about discovery, that magical moment when someone spots a future supermodel in a mall or airport. But Lima's story tells another truth. She didn't stumble into fame. She built it. Built through 10,000 hours of boxing, 9,000 days of discipline, 18 years of choosing the runway over everything else. There's something unsettling about her achievement. To last 20 years required becoming less human, more machine. The liquid diets and dehydration were just the visible extremes. The deeper transformation was psychological, training yourself to see your body as product, your beauty as performance, your worth as reliability. But perhaps that's the real achievement. She didn't just outlast every other angel. She outlasted the very system that created her. She was still there when Victoria's Secret canceled the show, admitted the fantasy was over, tried to reinvent themselves for a new era. She'd survived long enough to see her own obsolescence coming and choose her exit before it chose her. The teenagers today who follow models on Instagram will never understand what Lima represented. That final generation when supermodels were superhuman, when discipline could defeat time, when one woman could embody an entire brand's fantasy for 2 decades. They'll never understand because that world is gone. Lima knew it was ending. That's why she stayed until the very last moment, then walked away on her own terms. Not fired, not aged out, not replaced by someone younger. She simply decided 20 years was enough. The machine she'd built could finally rest. In the end, Adriana Lima wasn't just the supermodel who endured the longest. She was the one who understood that lasting meant choosing when to leave. The wings aren't just a relic, they're her legacy. While the show moves into a new chapter in 2024 and beyond, the woman who wore those wings chose to step away on her own terms. And after 2 decades, she is finally free.